advisor.
Dante's Boxing Nation over here with Peter Nelson, the man that's in control of the programming over there at HBO, correct?
We are a team, my friend.
There we go. Now I want to ask you, with the emergence of Al Haymon, the PBC series, they are signing a lot of fighters. It seems like it would be beneficial eventually for you guys to kind of work together. Do you think that's a possibility? Some fights, because it seems like some of the big fights could be made if both of you guys were working together. What do you think?
Well, we've said many times that we're an open shop. We're open to all promoters. Any promoter that calls us up, we take their call. So, and we see Saturday night we have a fighter in Dominic Wade who is advised by Al Haymon. He's fighting against Gennady Golovkin in a mandatory defense. So there are no barriers.
That's right. Yeah. It's already been done. What I'm asking is,
how easy was that fight to make?
Tom Loeffler, K2, he put the fight together, and he's been in charge of putting together Gennady's arc in the United States, and since he arrived here and everything, and we've been really pleased with how easy it is to work with Tom Loeffler and K2. It's a great team with Gennady Golovkin.
What other big fights do you guys have in store at HBO that we don't know about yet?
You want the secrets?
I won't tell anybody, man. I won't tell anybody.
Between you and me. We're focused on the slate ahead right now. We have this great event on Saturday night with Ramon Gonzalez, who's recognized by many outlets as being the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's fighting as a co-feature to Gennady Golovkin, who's always delivered non-stop action in the ring. And then in just a couple weeks, we got Canelo against Amir Khan. It's going to be a terrific fight for the lineal middleweight championship. We're excited to see what happens that night. Great speed versus power matchup.
Looking back in hindsight, was it a better idea to not go the pay-per-view route, Golovkin versus Lemieux, and just have a big fight on HBO?
I think for this event, what we've seen is the original pay-per-view always stands out with Gennady Golovkin, and we've seen this happen gradually over time, and the original pay-per-view is buying a ticket to the fight. And we're going to have a sold-out crowd at the LA Forum, which is the first time that's happened for boxing since the 1970s. So to be able to be a part of history is a great thing for us, and we're privileged to be a part of the arc of two great fighters' careers.
So you don't want to answer the question about David Lemieux, though? What I was saying, looking back in hindsight, the fact that HBO put that on pay-per-view, now would it have been a better idea that they just put that on regular HBO like they're doing this fight right here? Would have been better?
No.
Looking back in hindsight.
All fighters who have really grown to be pay-per-view franchises oscillate, go back and forth between being on pay-per-view and being on HBO. Every single fighter has been built to be on as a pay-per-view attraction, was built on HBO, and then oscillated between going on pay-per-view and then going back onto HBO on the main service. So it's a traditional trajectory, and we're excited to see where it goes with it.
How many times do you plan on fighting or trying to put Golovkin on HBO this year?
That's up to Gennady and his team. We're going to see how Saturday night goes, and then after that, we're going to huddle and figure out what's next. You can't look past any opponent. Dominic Wade, I've known him for years, since when he was training at the Headbangers Boxing Gym with Barry Hunter way back in the day. He's a skilled fighter, and he's going to bring his A game. It's an opportunity of a lifetime for him. He's going to be crazy to let that go. So he's going to do everything that he can in the ring Saturday night. We'll see where it goes from there.
How much influence do you guys have in making a Golovkin versus a Canelo fight?
How much influence?
Yeah.
Ultimately fighters who want to get in the ring against each other do. And I think Canelo, what we've seen with him is that he's not afraid of anybody. And Gennady Golovkin's the same. So I think sometimes fights need to build a little bit, but we'll see after Saturday night, we'll see after May 7th where the camps are, and we'll evaluate it and go from there.
All right, thanks for your time. Peter Nelson, guys.
I have one question, Peter.
Sure.
I disagree with Bob Arum last week. He said that Victor Postell, Terence Crawford is a pay-per-view fight. In my honest opinion, I think it can sell out, but I don't think it's a pay-per-view. Do you think it is a pay-per-view fight, or is there some logistics that have to go to make it a pay-per-view fight?
Well, I'd rather not speculate on fights that haven't been made yet. Sure. So when we get there, we'll talk about that then. All right?
What's the ceiling for Terence Crawford, do you think?
I think he's one of the most talented fighters in the sport, and he's toiled in order to get there. And he's done it with the same team of folks since day one. The same guy that pulled him into the gym early on, Brian McIntyre, in order to see him start developing as a fighter, just as a kid. He's still with him today. So the kind of close-knit team like that always stands a better shot at success. Has just been anecdotally what I've been able to see in the sport. And you see him do things that other fighters can't do. And the way he sets up body shots without blistering power as some fighters have in order to do that sort of thing, the way he uses head movement, defense, he's ambidextrous in a way that few fighters ever can achieve. So he's technically such a sound fighter, and you see with each fight he shows you something new. So he's got so much in his arsenal. I think we haven't seen the best of him yet, and I think we're going to see that over time, over a period of years, not just the next couple of years, but many years to come.
And you mentioned the last 2 fights, and you've brought Republicans and Democrats together, so you're the independent. You got Canelo Khan, you got Triple G Wade. What was the genius behind putting that together?
We're just an open shop. We like working with everybody. We like to put together the fights that the fans want to see. And the fans are agnostic when it comes to that. What they want to see is just get the fights made. They don't want to be spending excessive time preoccupied with the business of boxing, and neither do we. What we want to be able to do is put together events like this, come in, enjoy a great night of fights, and then move on to the next one. That's what boxing should be.
Do you think the stadium is big enough for Canelo Khan?
The stadium?
Do you think T-Mobile Stadium is big enough for that fight?
I mean, it's a great event.
It's going to be a hell of an event.
I mean, that arena is a gorgeous spot, and we're excited to be opening up their boxing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.